Hello, welcome to N400 Vocabulary bb3. I'm bb, and these programs cover questions, vocabulary, and meanings for your citizenship interview. You must listen to the questions and practice answering them. The first video, bb1, covered greetings and parts 1 through 11 of the citizenship application. The second video, bb2, covered questions 1 through 29. This video, bb3, covers part 12, questions 30 through 50. You will hear two voices. Voice 1 is bb. bb will say meanings and ask questions.
Voice 2 is the answer man.
He will answer questions as examples. You should answer questions based on your own N400. Let's get started. The questions in this video deal with part 12 on the N400, questions 30 through 50. These questions are about personal habits and behaviors, government officials and the U.S. Army, support of the Constitution, and the oath of allegiance. We will also cover tips for understanding and talking with the interviewer to clarify or help you with questions. The next questions cover personal habits and behaviors. You will hear words like habitual drunkard, prostitution, illegal drugs, immigration benefits, illegal entry, gambling, public benefits. You will also hear questions asked with have you ever? What does have you ever mean? Have you ever means in my whole life. Have you ever been a habitual drunkard? No. What does habitual drunkard mean? Drink too much alcohol. Have you ever been a prostitute or procured anyone for prostitution? No, I have never done this. What is a prostitute? Have sex for money. Have you ever sold or smuggled controlled substances, illegal drugs, or narcotics? No, I don't use drugs. What does smuggled mean? To hide something. Can you give me an example of an illegal drug or narcotic? Heroin, cocaine. Have you ever been married to more than one person at the same time? No, only my wife, or only my husband. Have you ever helped anyone to enter or try to enter the United States illegally? No. What does enter illegally mean? Come without documents. Have you ever married someone in order to obtain an immigration benefit? No. What is an immigration benefit? Get a green card. Have you ever gambled illegally or received income from illegal gambling? No. What is gambling? Play games for money. Have you ever failed to support your dependents or to pay alimony? No. I always help my family. Have you ever made any misrepresentation to obtain any public benefit in the United States? No. What is a public benefit? Food stamps, Medicaid. The next 6 questions are about U.S. government officials telling the truth and deportation and removal proceedings. Have you ever given any U.S. government officials any information or documentation that was false, fraudulent, or misleading? No, I have not. What does false, fraudulent, or misleading mean? It means lie or not tell the truth. Have you ever lied to any U.S. government officials to gain entry or admission into the United States or to gain immigration benefits while in the United States? No. What does lie mean? Not tell the truth. I always tell the truth. What is an immigration benefit? Like a green card. Get a green card. Have you ever been removed, excluded, or deported from the United States? No, I have not. What does deported mean? Means I have to go back to my country. Have you ever been ordered removed, excluded, or deported from the United States? No. Have you ever been ordered removed, excluded, or deported from the United States or any other country? No. Have you ever been placed in removal, exclusion, rescission, or deportation proceedings? No. Are removal, exclusion, rescission, or deportation proceedings, including administratively closed proceedings, currently pending against you? No. The next 8 questions are about the U.S. Armed Forces. The Armed Forces means the Army and soldiers. Have you ever served in the U.S. Armed Forces?
No.
What is the U.S. Armed Forces?
The Army.
Are you currently a member of the U.S. Armed Forces?
No.
What does currently mean?
It means right now.
Have you ever been court-martialed, administratively separated, or disciplined, or have you received an other than honorable discharge while in the U.S. Armed Forces?
No, I have never been in the Army.
If you answered yes to any of these questions, ask a teacher to help you understand the meanings of the questions. In this program, we will only answer no to all of these questions. Have you ever been discharged from training or service in the U.S. Armed Forces because you were an alien?
No, I have never been in the Army.
Have you ever left the United States to avoid being drafted in the U.S. Armed Forces?
No, I have never been in the Army.
Have you ever applied for any kind of exemption from military service in the U.S. Armed Forces?
No, I have never been in the Army.
Have you ever deserted from the U.S. Armed Forces?
No, I have never been in the Army.
Are you a male who lived in the United States any time between your 18th and 26th birthday?
No, I came to the United States when I was older than 27.
You are almost finished with the N400 questions. The next 6 questions are about the Constitution, the oath of allegiance, bearing arms, and service for the United States, non-combatant service, and work of national importance. Do you support the Constitution of the United States?
Yes.
What is the Constitution?
It sets up the government.
What is the form of government in the United States?
Freedom or democracy.
Do you understand the full oath of allegiance?
Yes.
What is the oath of allegiance?
A promise to obey the laws of the United States.
Are you willing to take the full oath of allegiance?
Yes.
What is the oath of allegiance?
A promise to obey the laws of the United States.
If the law requires it, are you willing to bear arms on behalf of the United States?
Yes.
What does bear arms mean?
Carry a gun.
If the law requires it, are you willing to perform non-combatant services in the U.S. Armed Forces?
Yes.
What is a non-combatant service? Can you give me an example?
A cook or a nurse.
If the law requires it, are you willing to perform work of national importance under civilian direction?
Yes, I will help.
What is work of national importance?
An example would be to give food or water.
Congratulations, you've answered your N400 questions. In the next slides, we will have some tips for covering your interview and questions that the interviewer asks and questions that you can ask the interviewer so that you understand the questions better. Here are some tips for how you can behave in the interview. Always tell the truth. Sit up in your chair. Look at the interviewer. Wait for the interviewer to finish asking the question. Answer all questions with words. Say yes, not yeah, or uh-huh. Smile and be friendly. When the officer asks you questions, or when you have answered a question, the officer might want to know more about your understanding of English. The officer might say, "What does that mean?" What does "have you ever" mean? The officer might say, "Can you give me an example? Can you give me an example of an illegal drug?" The officer might say, "Can you explain that?" And the officer might say, "I'm not sure you understood the question." If the officer says, "I'm not sure you understood the question," you can answer something like, "Could you say again? Could you please repeat?" These are things the officer might ask you to test your understanding of English. When the officer asks you a question and you need more time, you are not sure what the officer said, you would like the officer to speak clearly, you can ask the officer questions to clarify. You can ask the officer, "Could you please repeat? Could you please repeat that question? You can ask, could you speak slowly, please? I'm sorry, I can't hear. Could you please repeat? You can ask the officer, can you say another way? If there's a word that you're not sure what it means. You can also ask the officer, can you ask the question with different words? If you don't know what spouse means, you could say, can you ask the question with different words? And the officer could say, are you married? So it's good to know some of these please repeats, speak slowly. You can always be extra polite and say, please, excuse me, could you please repeat? That never hurts either. Be very polite and listen carefully to the officer. Great job! You have completed N400 Vocabulary BB3. Please listen to BB2 and BB1 again for review of other parts of the N400 application. Good luck on your citizenship test. You will be a great U.S. citizen. Welcome and best wishes from BB and
The Answer Man.